History of the parallel postulate. Alexis Claude Clairaut, a French mathematician and astronomer known for his contributions to the field of astronomy, calculus, and differential geometry. However, his role in the history of the parallel postulate is somewhat indirect. While Clairaut did not directly contribute to the formal development or challenge of the parallel postulate like mathematicians such as Legendre, Gauss, Bolyai, or Lobachevsky. He did play a role in the broader context of the 18th century mathematical environment in which the question of the parallel postulate was considered. Clairaut's works in geometry was primarily concerned with the geometrical theory of curves and differential geometry, where he contributed to understanding the properties of surface and the differential equations governing them. He is also known for Clairaut's equations, a type of first-ordered ordinary differential equations, and for working on the shape of the Earth, ellipsoidal theory. So, bali ito yung sa Clairaut equations, pero hindi siya sa modern geometry, sa na siya, differential geometry na siya. And hindi siya about postulate, kaya hindi ko na prove or hindi na ako gumawa ng example ng niya, solving niya. Then, Clairaut's axiom, rectangle exists. So, Clairaut axiom were focused on curved surface. They were part of the broader development of differential geometry and influenced the understanding of Euclidean and non-Euclidean geometries. Clairaut's axioms states that for every point on a surface, there exists a unique tangent plane at that point, and the surface behaves in a way that it allows the construction of a rectangle locally around the point. Key idea, at any point on a smooth surface, there is a flat plane called the tangent plane that touches the surface in this flat plane. You can always draw a rectangle. So, ito yung sa example. Kunwari, di ba ito yung sa Earth, and ito yung sa flat plane niya, dito na side. So, ito yung flat plane na sinasabi niya. So, even on a curved surface like a sphere, locally the surface is flat. At any point in this flat region, you can always draw a rectangle by using the flatness of the tangent plane and choosing two perpendicular directions. This is why Clairaut axioms, in a simpler sense, guarantees that a rectangle exists locally at any point on a smooth surface. So, proof. Tangent plane. At any point on a smooth surface, there's a tangent plane that just touches the surface at P. This plane is flat and represents a local flat approximation of the curved surface. So, parang yung nasa image kanina. So, ito yung sa flat plane niya. Ayan yung dito yung sa mga tangent niya yung sa gilid-gilid. So, local flatness. The tangent plane is flat and behaves like a flat piece of paper, even though the actual surface may be curved, like a sphere or a sphere's part. Choosing directions. In this tangent plane, you can choose two directions that are perpendicular, i.e., example, they form a right angle 90 degrees. These directions are tangent to the surface and can be thought of as two axes, like the x-axis and y-axis in a flat 2D plane. Drawing a rectangle. Once you have these two perpendicular directions in the tangent plane, you can now move along them to form a rectangle. For example, move a certain distance in one direction along the first axis. Then move a certain distance in the other directions along the second axis. The result is a rectangle because their directions are at 90 degrees to each other. So, however, Clairaut's axiom is a mathematical principle related to differential geometry. So yun nga sabi ko ito yung action ni Clariot's hindi siya related to ni postulate ni Euclidean but related siya sa differential geometry na. Next, Legendre. Adrien Marie Legendre, a prominent French mathematician, made significant contributions to various areas of mathematics, including geometry. However, his views on the parallel postulates are particularly notable in the context of his work Elements de Geometry, where he focused on rigorously presenting Euclidean geometry. So, Elements de Geometry. Elements de Geometry by Legendre is a textbook that presents the principle of Euclidean geometry, the geometry of flat surfaces, in a clear, systematic, and logical way. It helped make geometry more vigorous and laid the groundwork for later developments in the study of geometry, particularly regarding the parallel postulate. Legendre presented an elegant demonstration that purported to show that the sum of the angles of a triangle is equal to two right angles. He believed that he had conclusively established the validity of the parallel postulate. His work attracted a large audience and was influential in informing readers of the new ideas in geometry. In Adrien Marie Legendre's Elements de Geometry, one of the key concepts he explores is the fundamental property of triangles, specifically the sum of the angles in a triangle. According to Euclidean geometry, the sum of the interior angles of any triangle is always 180 degrees. Legendre demonstrates by considering a triangle, say triangle ABC, and drawing a line parallel to one side of the triangle, example, side BC, through vertex A. Using the parallel postulate, he shows that the angles formed between the parallel lines and the sides of the triangle help determine the sum of the interior angles. Through careful reasoning, Legendre proves that the sum of the angles inside the triangle must always add up to 180 degrees. This theorem is a cornerstone of Euclidean geometry and is crucial to the structure of the theorems Legendre presents by clarifying and systematizing these results. Legendre made Euclidean geometry more precise and logical, solidifying its foundation as an axiomatic system used in education and further mathematical exploration. Legendre also spent 40 years trying to prove Euclid's fifth geometry. Johann Heinrich Lambert, a German mathematician and physicist, made significant contributions to the study of the parallel postulate in the 18th century. Lambert is particularly important because of his attempt to prove the parallel postulate from other axioms of Euclidean geometry and his early work in non-Euclidean geometry. In 1766, Lambert published a groundbreaking work in which he made significant progress in understanding the implication of the parallel postulates and tried to show that Euclidean geometry could not be derived without it. His major contribution came from exploring the nature of hyperbolic geometry, a form of geometry where the parallel postulate does not hold true. Here are the key points of Lambert's work related to the parallel postulates. Lambert's attempt to prove the parallel postulates. Lambert's work on hyperbolic geometry. Lambert's theorem on hyperbolic trigonometry influence in the development of non-Euclidean geometry. Number 1, Lambert's attempt to prove the parallel postulate. Lambert attempted to prove the parallel postulate by using the other axioms of Euclidean geometry, specifically working with the assumption that the angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. In doing so, he was trying to understand the relationship between the geometry of the plane and the parallel postulate. Number 2, Lambert's work on hyperbolic geometry. Though Lambert did not directly formulate hyperbolic geometry, this was done later by Nikolai Lobachevsky and Janusz Bolyai. His work on geometry provided hint that there could be other geometries where the parallel postulate does not hold. He realized that it was possible to imagine a geometry in which there were infinitely many parallel lines passing through a point that did not lie on a given line. This was the foundation of the later development of non-Euclidean geometries. Lambert's theory on hyperbolic geometry. Lambert also made important contributions to hyperbolic trigonometry, working out the relations of triangles in a non-Euclidean plane. He showed that in such a geometry, the angles of a triangle would add up to less than 180 degrees, an observation that was essential for the development of hyperbolic geometry. Influence on the development of non-Euclidean geometry. Though Lambert did not fully develop the theory of non-Euclidean geometry, his work was influence for later mathematicians, particularly Carl Friedrich Gauss, Lobachevsky, and Bolyai, who would eventually create formal non-Euclidean geometries in the 19th century. In Albert's attempt to prove the parallel postulate, he also uses some steps like assumption of Euclidean geometry by starting with the 5 postulate of Euclidean geometry. Geometry of triangles, which he considered the angles of the triangle. Exploration of the angle sum, which he examined how the sum of the angles in a triangle might behave in different situations, especially in relation to curved surface. Lambert's geometrical intuition, just to seek to prove that Euclid's space, the sum of the angles in a triangle would necessarily be equal to 180 degrees, and thus geometry would be consistent if the parallel postulate did not hold. Introduction of hyperbolic geometry. But despite his efforts, he did not prove that parallel postulate from the other axioms of Euclidean geometry. In summary, Johann Heinrich Lambert's work on the parallel postulate laid important groundwork for the later development of non-Euclidean geometry, particularly hyperbolic geometry. While he was unable to definitively prove or disprove the parallel postulate, his exploration of its consequences and his introduction of hyperbolic trigonometry were key milestones in the history of mathematics. Franz Taurinus, an 18th century German mathematician known for his work on geometry and specifically for his investigations into the parallel postulate. Taurinus is a relatively lesser-known figure compared to other mathematicians who made significant contributions to the study of geometry and the parallel postulate, but his work did not have an impact on the development of mathematical thoughts during his time. His investigation into the foundation of Euclidean geometry were part of the broader intellectual movement that eventually led to the discovery of non-Euclidean geometry in the 19th century. By the time Franz Taurinus in the 18th century, there was a growing intellectual movement to critically examine the foundations of geometry, Influential mathematicians, including Euler and Lambert, had begun investigating whether the parallel postulate could be derived from the other axioms of Euclidean geometry. They were also exploring whether alternative non-Euclidean geometry could exist in which the parallel postulate did not hold. Franz Taurinos was one of the mathematicians who, during his career, engaged with the study of the parallel postulate. His work involved trying to understand its relationship with the other axioms of Euclidean geometry. Taurinos explored the possibility of deriving the parallel postulate from the other axiom, as well as considering its implication for geometric space. However, like many of his contemporaries, Taurinos did not succeed in proving that parallel postulate from the other axioms. Instead, his works contributed to the realization that the parallel postulate might be independent and regarded as a separate axiom. Hence, Franz Taurinos' work on the parallel postulates represents an important chapter in the history of mathematics. His efforts, along with those of his contemporaries, helped lay the intellectual groundwork for the later discovery of non-Euclidean geometries. Though he did not succeed in proving or disproving the parallel postulate, his studies contributed to the brooding understanding that the parallel postulate might be independent and that alternative geometries were possible. Taurinos' involvement in these foundational questions was part of the intellectual evolution that eventually led to the groundbreaking development of hyperbolic geometry and elliptical geometry in the 19th century. Farkas Wolfgang Bolyai, a Hungarian mathematician, played an important but often overlooked role in the history of the parallel postulate. His contributions lies primarily in his recognition of the independence of the parallel postulate, a concept that would later lead to the development of non-Euclidean geometry. Farkas Bolyai is often credited with being one of the first to explore the possibility that the parallel postulate might be independent of the other postulate, thus leading to a non-Euclidean geometry. He recognized that a geometry without the parallel postulate could potentially make sense, though he did not fully develop the theory. Farkas was influenced by work of Carl Friedrich Gauss, who had also suspected that the parallel postulate might be independent of the others. Gauss, however, did not publish his ideas, probably out of fear that they would be met with resistance from the mathematical community. Farkas-Bolyai contributions to the parallel postulate played an important yet often overruled lies in his early recognition of its lies primarily in his early recognition of its independence from other actions of Euclidean geometry, a key insight that would later pave the way of the development of Euclidean geometry. While many mathematicians of his time tried to prove that or disprove the postulate, Farkas was one of the first to grasp that the parallel postulate cannot be derived from other axioms and was in fact an independent assumption that defined Euclidean geometry. This realization suggested that geometry could be based on different sets of actions, leading to the possibility of alternative geometries. Though Farkas did not develop a non-Euclidean geometry himself, his insight laid the intellectual growth for later mathematicians, including his son Janusz Bolyai and Nikolai Lobachevsky, who would go on to independently develop hyperbolic geometry, a geometry in which the parallel postulate does not hold. Farkas' recognition of the independence of the parallel postulate was a critical turning point in the history of mathematicians, showing that multiple consistent geometries could exist, a concept that fundamentally transformed the study of geometry. So that's all. Thank you.